Hi, hello, and welcome back to Crick Static Season 3, powered by Wannaby, the world's first exclusive 360 degrees buyers only listing portal. I am Tasmay Krishnan, the creator and host of this podcast, and I couldn't be more enthralled to welcome you all back to another riveting episode of Crick Static. It takes me great pleasure to announce that the third reel is an absolute hit. Thank you so much for all the love and reception. And நிறைய பேர் கேட்டிருந்தீங்க தமிழ்லேயே கண்டினியூ பண்ணிக்கலாம்ல ஏன்னா இது வந்து நல்லா சூட் ஆகுறதுன்ட்டு ஆனால் the reason why I'm not continuing in Tamil is very simple. It's because I encapsulate a very wide range of audience. I go all the way to US, Dubai, Oman, so I don't want them to be looking at the subtitles and not be focusing on the video. So I thought let me continue in English, but the occasional Tamil slangs kandipa irukkunga. So I'm going to begin this episode now analyzing the Gujarat Titans versus the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Not the best game of cricket this IPL. In fact, I would say it's the driest game that the IPL has produced until now, and the pitch was probably even drier than that because the ball just wasn't coming onto the bat. And if it's dry, it's at least expected to turn. There was absolutely nothing on it. It looked like not exactly a batter's paradise, neither was it a bowler's friend, this pitch. It was somewhere, it was exactly what you could call middle ground, literally, because the ball really wasn't coming onto the bat. It wasn't moving, neither was it spinning. So it was actually a good game of cricket. It wasn't a great game of cricket. You can't call it below good because cricket never fails to disappoint, does it? So I'm going to address only the positive facets this game because there was no negative facet as of such. The bowlers bowled well, but at times the batsmen had to take desperate risks, and the gambles I think they'll be fine with because T20 cricket is all about taking gambles. So those who have gone for an economy surplus of 9 should not be disappointed because on this kind of a surface, I think the batsmen will only try and maximize their output, and I hope this only gets better to bat on throughout the tournament because it's all the bowl on because throughout the tournament we have only seen batting oriented pitches, may it be Lucknow, may it be Chepauk, which has been astounding finds in my opinion. I hope they become more bowling oriented. And with that, I'm going to address the key players of this game. Starting off with Abdul Samad and Henrik Klaasen. The hailstorm of Henrik Klaasen was finally broken. He was doing wonderfully, but Noor Ahmed, imagine Klaasen getting out to a spinner. I mean, that's a rare sight, isn't it? He bats with a strike rate near 193, clobbers the spinners. He's very much reputed for that. But to see him get out to a spinner, that was very much astonishing. And coming on to Abdul Samad, fantastic innings, 29 of 14 at a situation where Hyderabad was slated not to cross probably 150 or 140, which would have boosted GT's net run rate had they batted the same way. But the way Samad played, it was fantastic to see. He showed a lot of aggression, the perfect entry point for a very composed disposition that he exudes, goes for the shots from ball one, a player who relies on his timing more than his power hitting. And a lot of people will only limit Samad to his power hitting, but I see him as a very smart cricketer as well. He knows exactly where the gaps are. He knows how to place his shots as well. So there's a lot to admire about Abdul Samad, who continues to impress me. And now coming on to the bowling, I think the evergreen Mohit Sharma time and again comes back and impresses us. Like Wannaby, our sponsors, podcast sponsors, who have given the much needed development in the buying and the rental processes. They've been supporting this podcast a lot. And if you could also support them, it would be great. They have a website of their own, www.wannaby.in, and I'm reiterating that they use a scintillating AI algorithm to make the matching and the buying process an absolute breeze. If you prefer an app for a more user-friendly platform, then what are you waiting for? They have an app called the Wannaby app. Give them a visit there as well. Give it a download. And they also have their own Instagram ID, Wannaby Official. If you visit them, you'll get latest updates on sales and more offers. And with that, we continue with this review. Mohit Sharma he was fabulous the other day. The way he ran in and bowled those cutters into the surface and took those wickets. He's probably currently the best death bowler in the IPL going around. And I say this because his journey has been fantastic. Coming from where he was, from a neck bowler to come back to making a dream comeback to almost handing the trophy over to the Gujarat Titans. And then because of a little bit of micromanagement from Hardik Pandya in those last two deliveries, in one of the most memorable days in IPL cricket, that final CSK versus GT at 1:31 AM. In 2023, I think that was a little bit of micromanagement kind of screwed up GT's plans. But had Mohit stuck to his plans, it would have been a different narrative as on a whole. And but Mohit Sharma is definitely one of the best going around with regard to the death bowling. He's coming in time and again, running in with those uncanny cutters into the surface. Becomes extremely hard to find runs. He has some beautiful slower ones. He's got a very nice back of the hand delivery. Becomes very deceptive to play him because his action is one throughout. It's constant throughout. And only at the last position, one thing that I admire about him and Mustafizur Rahman, only at the last position that wrist position changes. So you can never make out how it's going to come. Mustafizur is someone whose wrist position I largely admire. He comes properly clear and just drops the ball, and he still gets it to move away and he gets it on a full length. That's great to see. But Mohit Sharma, oh, what a player. And I think I've addressed most of the positive facets in that Sunrisers Hyderabad camp, and I've also addressed Mohit Sharma. Now I'm going to be moving on to the Gujarat Titans batting. I mean, the way Sai Sudarshan played, again, someone who I rate extremely highly. I'm glad that he was handed his debut in the ODI series. He's someone who's come up the hard yards, right? I have personally seen Sai Sudarshan practice as well, and he's a player of his own pedigree. He's someone who's a lucrative to have in any lineup because he gives you that facet that MSD has been, preaching for over the last 16 years that he has been playing for in the IPL. That your openers or your one-down batsmen should be able to bat through the 20 overs, and Sai Sudarshan does exactly that. And it's not like he struggles to make runs. It's not a narrative that is very resonant to that of Manish Pandey, but you can definitely see Sai Sudarshan making some good runs. He did look a little stuck yesterday on that surface, but in all honesty, it was very hard for a batsman to come in and make runs on an entry point, and that's exactly why I was superlative in the way I appreciated Abdul Samad to make runs coming into that surface. 29 or 14, and even Henrik Klaasen to make those 24 runs of 13 balls, if I'm not mistaken, is very hard, especially when there's a little bit of grip, but there wasn't much assistance for the spinners with regard to the degree of turn, and I hope it goes on to become a better bowling pitch, because this IPL has only been batting oriented, whether it was a 277 game, the 201 game at Chepak, or even many other games that I can cite. So I really hope it becomes more bowling inclined as well. A few pitches where it becomes extremely hard to elucidate upon as a broadcaster, because I should be absolutely smitten by the way the ball should move. I want a pitch like that in the IPL so that the batters are also put in their place. And being a bowler, I only can advocate for this much. And coming back onto the analysis, the way Sai Sudarshan played, such a calm disposition that he exudes, a beautiful player off the back foot, someone who plays wonderfully off square of the wicket, has a fantastic square cut. And I've not seen much of Gundappa Vishwanath, but I don't know if he was reputed to play the square cut the way he did. I think Sai Sudarshan is at least there in the top 5 of playing the square cut. The way he plays, a lot of elegance in the way he plays the square cut. So if you haven't already seen him play the square cut, go and watch him play the square cut. He's a fantastic player. And the way I think he uses his feet as well, a very wily player when he uses his feet, he tries to alter the length of the bowler. He says, you know what, if you're going to bowl anything full, I'm going to sweep you. I've got a powerful sweep. If you're going to bowl up and full, I'm going to drive you. And then I'm going to step down on a few occasions to make you drop it short the next delivery, anticipating me to step down again. And that's great cricket from Sai Sudarshan. He's someone who I not only admire because of his batting, but also because of his work ethic. And this opinion comes from I think a realization on a YouTube channel that I think P-Dog had said that, when everyone was surrounding MSD after that qualifier 1 in 2023, Sai Sudarshan was doing laps of the ground, and that speaks volumes of the man's work ethic. A lot of us should take inspiration from Sai Sudarshan, whether in cricket or day-to-day life. Sai Sudarshan continues to set inspiring goals. And coming on to the way David Miller played, again, very hard to come in on that surface in the second innings especially and get off to a good start and propel the team's chances. But the way he came on and took the bowlers on, it was great to see. The way he was dissecting the gaps. I remember he played one shot through, I think it was of Shabaz or Washi, if I'm not wrong. I think he played right between deep mid and mid-on and long on. It was great to see. And another player who's an IPL legend, the way he's come back season after season and made runs for fun, especially the way that GT has tapped into his potential, that has also been amazing to see. He's someone who I rate extremely highly, can come in at any situation and turn the game. I remember he snatched an absolute dolly of a win from CSK in 2022 as well. So he's an absolute menace on the field, isn't he, David Miller? With both his hands, his adroitness on the field is nothing short of exceptional. But the way he was batting, yesterday was also, it was great to see. The way he was rotating the strike, he knew a few balls he had to nudge because he couldn't get off the mark. He couldn't get off the mark with the boundaries time and again. And he also hit 6 boundaries in the 44 runs of the 27 balls that he has scored. That is more than the number of runs that he's got off singles, doubles and triples. So you can also see that he's a very aggressive batter. And one thing I like about David Miller is he muscles the ball. He doesn't. Sometimes they say don't play shots half-heartedly because there's a good chance of you miscuing it and it goes up in the air. David Miller uses his feet, scrawny lad, punches it and it goes for a boundary. I am a huge fan of David Miller, in fact, and I'd even picked him in my all-time IPL 11 draft. If you haven't given it a listen, go to Spotify. It's available to stream. It's a 2-part episode, and I think it's 40 minutes each long, but it's worth the listen. Give it a listen. 3 of my colleagues and I tried to form the best all-time IPL 11s over the last 16 seasons, and you still can let us know which 11 won because I still haven't given out the results. And coming on to the SRH bowling, I think the way the SRH bowlers bowled was very mediocre. I think barring Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, who gave only 6.75 if I'm not wrong, and Patrick Cummins, who picked up a wicket for his, I think gave 7 runs in his 4 overs. I think he gave 28. I think no one else had bowled exceptionally. From GT's perspective, Mohit Sharma had a good spell. When you have a wicket-taking bowler who is highly penetrative towards the end, it's always a lucrative asset to have on your 11. But I think SRH has to rejig their bowling lineup despite having a lot of wicket-taking options. Now, if I'm not wrong, I think Manindu Hasaranga has been ruled out of the IPL, or if it's just reports or how many other games it's going to take for him to come back. Without Manindu Hasaranga, they seem to struggle. But who will you drop once he returns? That's also a question mark. And the way Jaydev Unadkat is bowling highly, again, not very impressive. 10.42 economy. And if you've been brought in to accommodate the extra batter up top, I think you've got to do your role properly, because they're bestowing a lot of faith in Jaydev Unadkat. He's not been having a good white ball run. The red ball has been exceptional for Saurashtra, has rejuvenated Saurashtra completely from a position in which they weren't considered a state to play cricket with at one point. And then all of a sudden that domestic prowess has kicked in, and it's all been because of one man's captaincy, and that has been Jaydev Unadkat. So Jaydev Unadkat, for the faith that they bestowed on him, he's got to come up and cook up some good performances. And I think I've addressed almost every single facet in this very short episode, because this game wasn't as fascinating, and we need more games that fascinate us, because only then you'll get more riveting analysis. So thank you so much for once again tuning in to Crickstatic Season 3 powered by Wannabe. This is your show host Tasmay Krishnan signing off. Subscribe if you to the channel if you already haven't. Give a listen to our Spotify episodes as well. We go by the same name, Crickstatic. And please do share it with like-minded cricket fans so that my growth continues to expand. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Signing off. This is Tasmay Krishnan. Have a delightful day ahead.